Democrat or Republican same owners. The Art of the Dealership, a Machiavellian guide to American politics. Ah, the great American experiment, land of the free, home of the brave, and playground of the oligarchs. To the discerning observer, the United States appears less as a republic governed by its people and more as a lucrative franchise auctioned off to the highest bidder. At the heart of this grand scheme lies an irony so rich it could fund another Pentagon boondoggle, the unyielding influence of a few families and foreign lobbies over the so-called bastion of democracy. The Art of Influence, a tutorial from the few. In Machiavelli's time, a prince had to wield power through cunning, alliances, and the occasional dagger in the dark. In modern America, power is far simpler to obtain. It merely requires a well-funded super PAC and a handful of politicians for hire. Enter the families and lobbies that have turned Washington into their personal chessboard, where senators are pawns and congresspeople are knights, all advancing the interests of a few. Israel, for instance, has mastered the game. Its lobby doesn't just whisper sweet nothings into the ears of American politicians. It composes their symphonies. The competition among presidential candidates to prove who loves Israel more is nothing short of a Broadway spectacle. One candidate dons a yarmulke, the other pledges to move embassies. It's a political talent show where the prize is not the presidency but the approval of a foreign ally that could veto your domestic policy if it cared to. The currency of corruption. Money, of course, is the lingua franca of this empire. While the Founding Fathers envisioned a nation guided by principles, the current custodians of democracy operate on a simpler philosophy. In God we trust, so long as God is printed on a $100 bill. Corruption isn't a bug in the system. It's the system itself. The book provoked peels back the velvet curtain, exposing the harsh realities of U.S. policies. Wars are no longer fought for freedom or security. They're fought for profits. Defense contractors, oil barons, and shadowy financiers pull the strings, turning blood into gold and chaos into dividends. Trump, the outsider who never left the inside. Ah, Donald Trump, the orange enigma who descended an escalator and ascended to the throne. His populist rhetoric promised to drain the swamp, but his appointments, Stephen Gorka, anyone, suggested he merely stocked it with crocodiles of a different stripe. Trump's relationship with the neocons is a masterclass in Machiavellian optics. He postures as an outsider, a maverick, but remains tethered to the same cabal that dictates global policies. The assassination attempt against him was less a warning and more a reminder. Even kings serve higher powers. Coke versus Pepsi, the two-party illusion. American politics, at its core, is a false dichotomy. Democrats and Republicans are not rivals. They're co-conspirators in a carefully choreographed performance. It's Coke versus Pepsi, different branding, same diabetes. One promises hope and change, the other promises greatness. Both deliver war, inequality, and the occasional tax cut for their benefactors. The electorate, bless their hearts, continues to believe in the illusion of choice. They rally, they vote, they tweet their outrage, all while the real decisions are made in smoky backrooms by people who couldn't care less about the will of the people. A world on the brink. And so, we arrive at the present moment, a time when the world teeters on the edge of chaos, manipulated by unseen hands. It is disheartening, yes, but also predictable. Machiavelli himself would marvel at the audacity of it all. The prince of today is not a single individual but a collective, a cabal of financiers, lobbyists, and war profiteers who wield power with impunity. The politicians are merely their courtiers, tasked with maintaining the illusion of governance, while the real rulers count their profits. Conclusion: the path forward. What is to be done? Perhaps nothing. Perhaps the system is too far gone, the rot too deep. Or perhaps the answer lies in embracing the Machiavellian spirit, not to serve the cabal, but to outweed it. After all, as Machiavelli himself said, the ends justify the means. If democracy is a theater, then it's time for the audience to storm the stage. If Coke and Pepsi are the only choices, perhaps it's time to brew our own drink. And if the prince is corrupt, perhaps it's time for the people to become the new princes. But until then, we watch, we wait, and we marvel at the spectacle. A tragic comedy where the stakes are nothing less than the future of the world.